Hey everybody, whoops, I have a helper. Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and sometimes things don't go exactly the way you planned. As you can tell from my lead-in, things didn't go exactly the way I wanted them to. Now, this is the setup that I have. That is the seed starting kit from Hoss Tools, and I love it. Look how sturdy this beast is. And I have seedlings. And they are getting leggy because I haven't been able to transplant them. So that's something I really wanted to avoid as much as possible. I just couldn't avoid that because our weather has been all over the place. We've had an assortment of blizzards and everything else going on. And the decision was made to just leave them here to make sure that they would survive. So, what I have here now is it is howling out there. The wind is just going crazy. We're currently sunny, but we're not supposed to be sunny again as of tonight. So, I got Henry to watch Mr. Rufus the Goofus, who just wandered off again. And I am going to transplant into these pots and keep them in here for now. I don't want to kill these things accidentally, so I had to do something. I'm pleased with the germination. I'm pleased with what I've got. Yeah, there's a few more seeds I would have liked to have seen come up, but it is what it is. And I want to keep these guys going. I checked the greenhouse today, and I removed the plastic that I had over the 3 buckets that contain, let's see, radishes, kohlrabi, and spinach. They're all doing really well. A few more have popped up. They're looking healthy, and I've taken off the plastic and I've put row cover over them instead. I'm going to watch the temperatures. I don't believe we're supposed to get super cold tonight. In fact, one of the concerns was they were originally saying it was supposed to lots of snow, but it's going to be too warm. So that's okay for the greenhouse. It just may not be great for the roads, which are already a giant mud puddle. So let me I was going to use, let's see. I was debating which size to use on these. And I decided to size up a bit because I don't want to have to worry about transplanting them again, like, instantly. The fewer times I transplant something, the better I like it. I'm going to pop these up into these guys, which are like 3x3s. And then I'm going to keep them in here for a while. Once I know what the weather is going to do, I have to recharge my thermometer. I've got a dog wandering around distracting me here. I've got to recharge my thermometer that goes out in the greenhouse so that I know from a distance what the temperature is. And don't even think about it. Go lay down. Go lay down. You're being a little naughty this afternoon. Excuse me. Beep, beep. He says, I'm helping. I'm helping, Mom. No, you're not. You're not helping. How's that? What I was looking for is I have a couple of narrow tools that I can use for transplanting out of small containers like this. This is the smallest one I could find, and that's still too wide. It's fine for sticking dirt in the pots to start it up, but it's not fine for digging out the individual items here. So, I'm cheating. This is actually a cake icing spatula, which brings back the old song, Spatula City. We sell spatulas, and that's all. That's an ancient little ditty. I don't remember. It's one of those joke things, kind of a Dr. Demento special. Okay. So, I've got one transplanted. Now, I'm making an assumption that no more of these seeds are going to come up. I can only wait so long, and I'm not willing to wait forever for seeds to come up. So, well, 3 months from now, more seeds may come up. And I have seen that happen on multiple occasions, especially with temperature-sensitive things like lettuce. They can go into a sort of a thermal shock thing if they're super overheated, and they will just not grow then, but they'll come up later. You haven't killed the seeds, you just like stop them, because they know their little seed, whatever they are, they're not brains, their little seed chemicals in there know that they won't do well if it's super hot. So if it's too warm, you can kind of shock them into dormancy, which is never a good plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to transplant these as if this is what I'm going to get out of them, and that's all there is to it. Anything that I really, really wanted to get and I didn't get, I will grow more later. That's my theory. I've got a dog wandering around in here sniffing everything, and he's very fascinated by the fact that Mommy brought in dirt. He will, of course, learn that Mommy bringing in dirt is not an unusual thing. I had actually planned to do this out in the greenhouse, but if I did it out there, first of all, I'd have to figure out how to get Rufus out there safely without driving me crazy, and it would be so loud out there because the greenhouse would be flapping that even with a microphone, you probably wouldn't be able to understand a darn thing I'm saying, so that just doesn't seem like a great plan. So as you can see, I'm very carefully transferring tags that go with these so that we know what each type of plant is. Many of them will be pretty obvious. I mean, I can look at this and say, that's definitely lettuce. Okay, not brain surgery. But this one, for instance, has 2 seeds in it that have come up, but the second one is just not doing anything wonderful. So I'm going to leave it in here anyway. And if something wonderful happens, okay, Henry just texted me to let me know that the main road to our place we were very concerned about, because our yard is soup right now. I mean, you know, when you go out there, you sink, and that's a bad thing. So we were concerned that the main road, which is in our area here, would be a mess, and he said it's actually not bad, and he's out on pavement now, so one less thing to worry about. Okay, excellent, yay. I like fewer things to worry about. It's a good thing. So, I have no idea what these were used for, but I'm sure they're fine. If they had had any kind of disease associated with them, I would have done something about it a long time ago. Okay, now, in this instance, I have 2 healthy-looking entangled seedlings in one pot. So I am going to bust this apart and stick 1 seedling in each of these. And then I'm very carefully align these guys up so I can keep track of what they are. It's very obvious that, for instance, those 2 are lettuce and that's not a lettuce. I had really wanted to make sure these things did not get leggy like this year. Didn't happen. We've had the craziest weather. A lot of my friends have not even started anything yet, and I don't blame them. I just decided I had to get something started, and even if they're leggy, they should be fine. They'll do their thing and produce vegetables. This is all going to be pak choy. So I'm going to put the pak choy down the right-hand side of this tray here. And obviously, as this stuff goes away, I'll be able to have more space here. Or not obviously, I don't know. Obviously or not obviously. This dirt here actually is potting soil, and this is the bag of potting soil that I mentioned, I don't know, weeks ago now, where I wanted to top off my 10-gallon pots in the greenhouse, and I went outside without thinking about it and grabbed a bag and found that I could barely carry it because it had gotten wet and it was frozen. So it was rather like carrying a very large cold brick of dirt. So yeah, that was funny, but not funny. So it's been sitting in the greenhouse for a couple of weeks, and it has defrosted. It is still more damp than usual, which shouldn't be a problem, but it definitely, yeah, it definitely was a frozen block of dirt when and I was like, oh, well, that's not going to work. I have frozen dirt. Yay. And, you know, it's just one of those things you don't think about sometimes. You're thinking, I have lots of dirt out at the greenhouse. It'll be fine. Yeah. No, I have lots of dirt outside the greenhouse. I thought I had one more bag in the greenhouse, which I didn't. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you think they will, and you have to work around it. So I still have a bunch of 10-gallon buckets out in the greenhouse that I want to top up a little bit, and it'll be fine. Just fine. All right. All of these pak choi in these containers came up. So I have 4 things of pak choi, which of course means 8 things of pak choi, which is fine. We love pak choi. And haven't had any since the last time I grew some because the stuff in the stores has been so awful. And I actually don't care for some of the varieties they sell in the stores. The ones around here are really, I'm going to use a very unscientific term, stemmy. They're all stem and not much leaf, and they're huge. They're big and ugly and usually pretty battered by the time we get them. So they tend to be bitter, and that doesn't even vaguely describe the pak choi that I grow. So, yeah. This may not be the prettiest pak choi ever because it's a little leggy, but it should still be tasty. And what I'll do is as we start eating these, I will replace them promptly with new seedlings so that we're fine. Hey, no chewing on cardboard, dude. Says, but Dad left this box here, and that must mean he wants me to chew on it. He likes cardboard. We just found that out today. I'm sure we'll be learning lots more in the next few days. Okay, so I'm going to put the sign that says pak choi in this row here and pop these guys out. This is a very messy transplant. Not the worst ever. There's times when I've had to just plain remove all the dirt off of roots, and I don't like to do that because it does shock the plant more. But to be honest, they usually survive. Even the tomatoes and stuff will often completely survive. And if you ever watch commercial planters do this stuff, you'd be like, there's no way that's going to make it. Obviously, they have fields of this stuff, so it made it. And it's interesting that we can be so gentle and fussy with our stuff, and the commercial guys can be so rough and tough with their stuff, and they still do fine most of the time. So if you have to split something apart because it doesn't fit any other way, do it. Just do it. Okay. Now, I have some more space. More space. What else do we have? We have stone cabbage. Now, the worst in terms of being leggy is probably the pak choi. And the stone cabbage is much squatter in terms of its appearance, which is great. Just don't eat the cardboard. He's spitting it out, so that's good. So it says stone cabbage, but it's actually stone head cabbage. Are you helping down there? Yeah, he's spitting it out. I don't normally let dogs destroy cardboard. We'll fix that. He has a toy. I found a squeaky toy for him, and he was running around with it in his mouth because I traded it for a piece of cardboard that he had before. But he's gone back to his cardboard because it's much more exciting, and that cardboard was still left on the floor there, which it shouldn't have been. Well, we've been running around like crazy trying to get all kinds of things done. Jack had his first shower today, which was very exciting. He didn't think it was very exciting at the time, but he's fine. Actually, he didn't hate it. I mean, like some dogs really hate it. And he came in. We took showers with him, basically. We figured we would trash the bathroom completely and then clean it up when we were done. Because, you know, wet dog sort of thing. And I don't know if I got enough stupid pots. I may not have. That would just figure, wouldn't it? I grabbed what I thought was an armload, but I could tell I'm out of practice. I can't recognize an armload from a distance anymore. Okay, so. There we go. See, they're already coming out. Not all the dirt came out, but you can see the roots, I think, probably at the bottom here. So they're developing nice, sturdy root systems, and which is awesome. It's just like watching a toddler play with something they're not supposed to play with. But I have to get these silly things transplanted. We're trying not to use his crate, which is what he sleeps in, for anything other than sleeping. So I don't want to incarcerate him in there as a punishment or anything. Yeah, anyway. We'll work this out. It'll be fine.
Oh, I just got back from a trip to pick a bunch of different things up. I was going into town, and then I had to go up to Williams to pick up another load of wood pellets for the stove. I had a bunch of things come in. I had a bunch of connectors that showed up, more tubing. I have several more pieces of tubing that are in another spot right now. But the good thing is I have a connection that can go between the compressor and the machine. I'll show you. This is an ordinary air chuck fitting right here. And this is the connection that goes to one of those pneumatic tubes. So I'll be able to connect the compressor up. That means we can test most of the features of the digital vacuum wax injector. Now, I'm still working on a connection to the vacuum pump. The vacuum pump has a different series of fittings. These are specific for air conditioning. I was trying to see if I can find a connector that would allow me to just use one of these two ports, but so far I haven't been able to find them in any of the hardware stores or online, which means I'll have to probably be taking this out right here and screwing a hose fitting in.